We apologize that there is no video for this podcast. We pray that the words will touch you and your family and make a difference in your lives. Hello, my name is Sarah Beaton.
And my name is Lucy Beaton, and we are a mother-daughter
team. And you're listening to New Calling Kids. And we are actually talking about a continuation for a podcast that we did last time. And last time was, Can I Get a Connection? And we ended with, what are you filling the void with?
Correct.
And so today we're picking up with who is filling the void. And anyway, I thought of something and I won't say it. I thought of this echo where it reverberates. Hello, 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 hello. Anyway, and so.
Are you answering?
Yeah. And so, anyway, so we are actually talking about who is filling the void. And it could also be a what as well.
Correct.
So it's not just a who, it could also be a what. So I guess let's just dive on in. Last week you ended with, who and what is filling the void. What are some things that as parents we allow our kids to maybe not,
I don't think we intentionally think about our children filling the void, because what we spoke about is connection.
We did.
Okay.
Right.
And then where there is no connection,
right.
Okay, parents leave a void. And
right.
It's that space, that loneliness, that children are looking for that connection, that eye-to-eye contact, whether it's a person or whether it is something that they do.
Yeah.
Okay. So our connection and engagement with our children means they know our eyes are on them.
Right.
That's what we refer to.
Right.
They're watching us. Dad at the gymnastics display.
Yeah.
He was watching.
Yeah.
That meant he was seeing his daughter's actions and activity. Okay. Whereas he was, if not, he was on his phone.
Right.
So that means that the children are seeing that engagement and connection, and you or we as parents are watching them.
But let's go back to that analogy real quick. If a child continually sees the parent on the phone and not, intentionally putting and tucking the phone away or putting it in your purse or putting it in your back pocket, whatever it is, wherever that phone needs to go and hide while your kid is doing that. My thing is that that child's going to pick up that same concept from the parent. So the parent might be, well, why aren't you engaged with me? Why can't you listen to my correction? And that child's going to be kind of thinking, and they might not be able to articulate it with, well, because when you are at gymnastics or whenever you watch me do a baseball game or a football game, whatever it is, I don't see you engaged with me, right? So they might not say it like that. They might just say, well, you don't care about me. And your brain is going, well, I do. I feed you and I take care of you and I change your diaper, and you're trying to go off the checklist. But what they're really articulating with, you don't care about me, the word care is not what they should be using. It's, you're not engaging with me. You're not,
watching.
You're not watching me, right?
You're not seeing. Like if I had to say to you, parent, what did you think of that move I did in gymnastics?
Yeah.
I mean, are you going to be able to say, I thought it was spectacular?
Right.
Or are you going to kind of like make up words and say, you did great?
Yeah. So like I'll watch my niece, and there are moments like, I'll be honest, like I was trying to do dinner and her parents were trying to communicate with me, and I was trying to give her a snack, and I was trying to feed the dog and everything, and the dog steals the cheese from the child. Well, the child goes into like panic of crying and like, I don't like this, but I wasn't engaged enough, okay? And the child wasn't at fault, okay? The dog was at fault, so I sent the dog out. And I told my niece, I said, it's going to be okay. It's a piece of cheese. It's going to be okay. We're going to have another piece of cheese, And immediately, I didn't care. I think I had something cooking on the stove, and I was like, it can burn. She's more important, Which I know that there was a moment where I think I communicated to parents, right now is not a good time. Like, I needed to be engaged. I needed to be focused on her. She needed me, right?
Yeah.
And so we fixed that situation, then we moved on. And the thing is that in an aspect, like your child, and she's young, she's under the age of 5, okay? So the thing is that, like, now when your child becomes over the age of 5, okay, like, what are you displaying? What are you showing? Like, she might not go, oh yeah, my aunt definitely let the food burn, right? She's not going to remember that. But like, if she had been older, maybe, she'd be like, my aunt let the food burn because, she was engaged with me. She was, being, watchful. She was,
she was watching me.
Yeah, she was watching me.
She cared about me that the dog had stolen my food.
Right. And so anyway, so it's those small things where, like, your child will have those cool stories,
Right. Right. So, I mean, you spoke about our children and just the fact that they know we're watching.
Right.
So, and it relates to boundaries and discipline and correction. Okay. If you are not engaged in your child's life, okay, they're looking for you as a parent or guardian to be setting the boundaries, the discipline, the correction. But if you are not connected or engaged, you cannot expect to have an impact, because they are looking for, how do you know what the boundaries should be?
The other thing is that your child could inherently, I think that's the right word, inherently, like, say, well, they're not engaged, so therefore I'm going to not partially check out, but like, if you had to ask a question, they might go, it doesn't matter, right? But they could also then attribute that to a negative attention, right? So they could, in essence, they might start acting up in school, or they might, like, not be doing their homework, or maybe they decide that they're gonna go hang out with a kid that you don't really want them to hang out with, okay? Or they start, like, doing negative behavior, and in your brain you're thinking, well, why is Johnny doing this?
Yeah.
Right?
He lives in a good home.
Right. He lives in a good home. I'm a good parent. But it's like, are you an engaged parent that he's now filling that void of, if I'm not getting the attention that I need, I'm going to go and get the attention from somewhere else.
That goes back to the question, who is filling
the void? Right.
Okay. And so I want to just add another word in here. If you're not understanding what we mean by engagement, okay, the child might not think in terms of the word engagement, but they think, Mom and Dad don't notice me.
Right. Or give me attention.
Yeah.
I'm left out. I'm alone,
Right.
And so it might be that you might have to say, like, how do you feel alone? What's causing you to feel alone? And your child might give you an example, and you might be thinking, well, I did not know that was, what my actions were doing. And you might be like, and I know we're going to get defensive because we're adults. Well, I have to work and I have to do this and you have to, take a step back, let cooler heads prevail, okay? Because the thing is that you are, in essence, you are raising a child that's going to be a Christ-following leader in the world. So when you leave earth, when you die, you're going to, inadvertently, your child is going to be left here, technically, okay? parents are going to die, the child is going to continue on with the legacy, right? And that legacy, unfortunately, could be positive. It could also be negative.
Correct.
But the thing is that we want our children to follow Christ. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
You know, we want them to fulfill and continue on the Christness and having kind of like heaven coming to earth, right? Technically in our society, if we really think about it, with each generation, if we continually train them correctly, technically we should have a better person. The problem is that we're not always engaged, or, you know, the bandwagon is going really well and the wheels fall off, and then all of a sudden, like, we've got this string of dirt and we're like, I don't know how that got there. And it's like, where did the wheels fall off?
Well, the wheels fall off because a parent's responsibility is to set the boundaries. Okay, the boundaries are to say, you may do this and you may not do this. It's to teach them what is right and wrong, good and evil, truth and a lie.
Right.
And so that develops character in a child. It also establishes values for the child.
Yeah.
And that's a part of them learning what love or safety is, because you have now taught them the boundary for where they feel cared for, where they feel safe, and in that there's a security and there's a love. And also, because you have been paying attention to them, you've been engaging with them, they've had eye contact with you, now they know that they're valued, they're respected, and you as a parent earn their respect. When you turn around and say to a child, because I said so, you never earn respect, because the child needs to understand, when you establish the boundary, why the boundaries exist, so that there is discipline and there's correction.
Right.
Because if they fill the void because a parent is absent, all right, what's going to happen? They could be finding something somewhere else to either fill the void, even if that's outside the home.
Right.
To the extreme. Would you like that to be law enforcement?
No.
Because you, as a parent, didn't step up and give your child the right boundaries. So the boundaries could be enforced by something outside of the home because they were pushing those boundaries. Because the child's going to push a boundary or push until they find the boundary, find that parameter that they feel safe within. Now there's I'm sorry.
So there's a verse that says, train up a child in the way they should go, right?
Correct.
And then I think the next verse that you should teach your kids is like, my son, listen to my wisdom, listen to my correction. Both those verses found in Proverbs, okay? And there's a verse that, and I'm going to butcher it, so we'll put the link in the bottom, the verse link of where it is. But it says, honor your mom who gave birth, but then also honor your father who is like the disciplinarian. And that's a very broad verse right there. But there is a verse that talks about like who mom is and who dad is, and both of them bring wisdom. Now I understand that like some families are single parent homes and things like that. But probably the best place where your kid can fill that void is church. But also, knowing how to get there is always a good thing.
Right.
And so like when you were talking about like establishing those boundaries, that's where it's the fact that you're training them, right?
Correct. And in a single parent family, you could say, I wasn't sure how to help you.
Right.
And so I spoke to a person at church that the child might recognize their name, either the children's pastor, and ask them for advice. It could be an associate pastor if if you couldn't speak to the senior pastor.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The fact is, because your child
Yeah.
was valuable and you wanted to train them up with the right boundaries, you went and got help.
Right.
Okay? So you want your child to know that if you do not know how to and what the right advice is about establishing the boundaries, and you need another person to fill that gap when
Yeah.
it's a single parent situation, there's no shame in getting help.
Yeah.
It's teaching your child that you don't have to be self-sufficient
Yeah.
or independent.
One thing is like getting a mentor, right, for your kid.
Excellent.
You know,
Yes.
like you think about it, like you might say like, hey, so-and-so is a great person in our church that I would love my child to like have some feedback from. And the reason why is you go, oh, you know, that person can speak into my kid's life when they get older, 16, 17, 18, and they think, mom and dad have no idea what I'm really going through, right? You can just say, hey, go speak to so-and-so,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They will give you some advice. And the thing is that it might click differently with them, right?
Right.
And they might even open up to that person a little bit deeper than what. And don't be offended, parents, if your kids
That's
go,
so true.
you know, I went and spoke to so-and-so and they gave me this advice. Don't go, ugh, why can my kid come to me? It's because he or she is your child, okay? And they, you know, they're trying to maybe fill that void, or maybe they're trying to have like outside like feelings outside of the home. As long as it's biblical and it's correct and it reinforces, right? Which is what we talked about in the last podcast, Jim Wyman's quote, right? Reinforcement, that is always great. You just don't want to have something else fill that void.
Correct.
So,
And just another aspect of what could be filling the void for your child's loneliness or lack of connection with you as a parent could be that they will escape. They'll put earpods in or whatever they could plug their ears with, and then they'll go and get on their computer and they can watch things on the computer. So technically what they're doing is they're escaping.
Yeah.
They're finding something else to fill this emptiness with, and it's an escape, because now in that escape mode they never confront what needs to be confronted.
right.
The problem is escape can find its ways, once they get older, can find its ways in things like drugs, addictions, pornography, alcohol, different things. We need to connect with our children so that we are there for them in their times of growing up, whatever it is, their loneliness. They have someone they can connect with. And when you do not have the answers, say, well, have you spoken, and refer them to somebody. If you are a part of a church, refer them to a youth leader.
Right.
Okay? And I'm sure they can help you because they're closer to your age right now.
Right.
And they might understand exactly how you're feeling. And I'm sorry. Admit your failure as a parent to not always being so spot on. Because as parents, we're only going to raise our children and connect to the best that we can be. And so you want to know that your child is being directed to filling the void.
Right.
With something that you know would be to their benefit.
Right. Yeah. This is such a broad topic, and we could, spend all day and all night and another 24 hours. But unfortunately, we have to end. And so if you guys have any questions on like what are good ways of filling the void, how can I help my child, other resources, you guys can email us, or if you guys have any thoughts of how you guys have helped your kids fill that void, let us know. That way we can help. As a body of Christ, we're there to be iron, and so iron sharpens iron. So as we go about the next couple of weeks, let's try and help each other, not escape, but fill that void. So with
and fill the
Christ.
void positive.
Right. Well, I said with Christ, so.
Oh, I didn't get. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Positively or with Christ. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you know what? We enjoy sharing with you to invest in your children.
Yeah.
That would be the greatest thing. And if we use words that you might not understand, I apologize.
Yeah.
But would you say, just shoot us a comment in the comment section to say, when you said,
Right.
and reference that, what do you mean by that? We do not want to take offense at anything. Our goal
Yeah.
is to be a resource and a help where we can. And if we don't know, we will tell you we don't know, but we're going to find the
out.
answer.
Yeah. We'll find out. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it for today.
Yes. Thank you so much. So go and fill the void with Christ.
Yeah. Go and be there for your children.
Yeah. Until next time, thank you so much for watching.
See you next time.